Welcome to Chabad of South Kensington's iClass, given by Rabbi Mendy Loewenthal. This iClass is based on a Hasidic discourse that was written around 140 years ago by the fourth Rebbe of Chabad, the Rebbe Maharash. The class will focus on AMALEK and what it means for us today. AMALEK is the wicked nation that attacked us, the Jewish people, just after we left Egypt. We were at the prime of our time. We had just gained our status as a free people. Hashem had just split the sea for us, and we were on a real high. And then, the AMALEK people decided to attack us. We weren't going through their land, and we didn't plan on bothering them. But they decided to attack us for no reason. Haman, the wicked guy that wanted to kill all the Jewish people in the Purim story, was also descended from AMALEK. Every year on the Shabbat before Purim, we read about AMALEK just to remember how nasty they are. Okay, so what is AMALEK? They attacked us, okay. But are we supposed to bear a grudge for such a long time? Isn't it nice to be peaceful, forgiving and loving? The Torah actually speaks about AMALEK twice. In Exodus chapter 17, the Torah tells us how AMALEK attacked us just as we had left Egypt. Joshua went out to fight them, and Moses went up the mountain to pray. His hands were stretched up in prayer. When they went down, we would lose, but when they went up, we would win. After a while, Moses' hands got tired and he needed to sit down, while Aaron and Hur held his hand in the air. After that, Hashem said in verse 14 that He will surely obliterate the remembrance of AMALEK from beneath the heavens. Now it's interesting that it says that Hashem will obliterate the remembrance of AMALEK. It's kind of like Hashem won't obliterate AMALEK, but He will obliterate the remembrance. Now, what does that mean? That's in the second book of the Torah in Exodus. Let's look in the fifth book, Deuteronomy. Chapter 25, verse 17. Zachar et asher asa lecha AMALEK baderech batzeitchem mimitzrayim. You shall remember what AMALEK did to you on the way when you went out of Egypt. How he attacked you when you were faint and weary. And in verse 19, therefore it will be when the Lord your God grants you respite from all your enemies around you, etc. You shall obliterate the remembrance of AMALEK from beneath the heavens. You shall not forget. Again, the Torah is commanding us to wipe out the memory of AMALEK. And then, when we have totally forgotten about AMALEK because we've wiped out the memory, then the Torah says, you shall not forget. Hey! Are we supposed to remember? Or are we supposed to forget? What's going on? Anyway, on a simplistic level, Hashem wants us to attack AMALEK at a time of peace, just as they attacked us when they had no reason. So, should we attack them for no reason? And so it happened. After the Jewish people conquered Israel, the prophet Samuel appointed Saul as a king, and Hashem tells Samuel to tell Saul and command him to go out and kill AMALEK. And that's what happened. He gathered an army and he killed AMALEK. Except that he decided to keep the king Agag and also some of the best sheep and cattle alive so he could offer them up as a sacrifice. Now the prophet Samuel was very upset. He said, why did you leave King Agag and these sheep alive? Because, Shaul said, I wanted to offer them up as a sacrifice. But Hashem doesn't want your sacrifice now, the prophet Samuel said. Hashem asked you to kill them. Samuel was upset. Anyway, that's the story. So we've read something from the 5 books of Moses, and we've read something from the prophets, from Samuel, and now we're going to go to the scriptures, a verse from Job, Eov, chapter 13, verse 12. Your memorials are compared to ashes. Your eminences are like eminence of clay. Now what does this mean? Why are memorials like ashes? And why is eminence like clay? Now we have a fascinating medrash on this verse. And this is how it goes. It's translating the verse. Hashem said to the Jewish people, make sure to remember these two remembrances that I have written to you. What's the two remembrances? Number one, remember what Amalek did to you. That's in Deuteronomy. Number two, obliterate the remembrance of Amalek, which is in Exodus. And if you remember them, then you will be like Abraham, who was considered like dust and ashes. And if not, you will return to Egypt to work with mortar and bricks. What's Abraham? Abraham was very humble. He was so humble that he said, I am dust and ashes. Anochi afar ve'efer. And in Egypt, the Jewish people worked with mortar and clay. In Hebrew, with chomer. So the Midrash says, if we remember Amalek, which is mentioned twice in the Torah, we will be like Abraham, who is humble like dust and ashes. But if we don't, then we will go back to Egypt. Okay, now hold on. So back to the story of Saul. Saul, he didn't kill Amalek. He didn't remember them. And Samuel was angry. But he didn't go back to Egypt. What happened to the Medrash? Okay. Now we're going to take a look at the spiritual meaning of Amalek to try to make sense of this all. So we have episode 1. The wife, or a wife, says, can you get the baby? It's 3 in the morning, the guy is dead tired, so he pretends he doesn't hear. He's insensitive. His tiredness managed to overshadow his great love and care for his wife. But he can be, if not forgiven, at least he can be understood. He's tired. Here's an image of the tired wife. Episode 2. The wife says, can you get the baby? It's in the middle of the day. The guy's not tired. He's selfish. And he pretends he doesn't hear. He's insensitive. He knows how hard it is for his wife to take care of the kids all day. He understands, and yet he did not help. He cannot be forgiven. Now let's diagnose the person. When we left Egypt, we were on our way to conquer the land of Israel. There were 7 nations living there. We can understand that these nations wouldn't really like us because we were going to conquer the land that they were living in. But then there is Amalek. We were not going to take the land. They just wanted to attack us just because. So they're really nasty. Now, the Torah is not just describing a war we had or should have had many years ago. The modern man of the 21st century is the land of Israel. Our role is to conquer ourselves. And we have 7 nations, or 7 negative voices that moan and groan inside of us when we try to do something good. And the question is, how do we respond? How do you respond to if your child says, hey dad, I don't want to go to synagogue on Yom Kippur? Or when your wife says, can you help me with the children? And the voice inside of you says, oh, I'm tired, I'm not interested. Yeah. How do you deal with that voice? Do you validate the voice? Do we crush the voice? So we need to know where the voice is coming from. There are the 7 nations that live in the land. The 7 negative emotions. They're negative, but they're emotions, we can understand them. They're rational. The wife says, can you help me with the kids? And then the inner voice says, I'm tired. It makes sense, we can validate it. Look, I'm tired, but my wife is more tired. So we somehow deal with the voice and we can overcome it. But then there is the mean voice, the irrational voice, the Amalek voice, that just comes along to stump us when we are feeling good. It comes from somewhere deeper than our plain rationale. It's deeper, it's higher. It attacks us unprovoked, for no reason. This voice we don't validate. We just go out and crush it. By consistently remembering to crush that voice, we remain humble and kind, just like Abraham. And if we don't, we're a slave to that voice, like we were in Egypt. Now Amalek comes from a powerful place. It's so powerful that they have the guts to attack us unprovoked. And the question is, where do we get the power to counter this Amalek voice? So, when we study Torah and Mitzvot, we are actually able to reach a deeper place, and we are empowered to crush that Amalek voice inside of us. Shabbat Shalom.